If you want to know everything about the Owl House, be sure to watch the video. Well, hello there, Spider here. The Owl House is a great show, and it might be on par with Gravity Falls. This show has great characters, a good story, and a lot of mysteries. That's why today I want to bring you the Owl House Iceberg. Be sure to stay until the end so you know everything about this show. But before starting the video, give me a like, be sure to click the subscribe button and leave your favorite character from the Owl House in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and with that out of the way, let's begin! Tier 1. Clear Skies. King is Bill Cipher. Alex Hirsch, creator of Gravity Falls and voice of a lot of characters in that show, and most notably Bill Cipher, also voices King in the Owl House. The voice of both King and Bill Cipher sounds almost the same.
Name's Bill Cipher, and I take it you're some kind of living ventriloquist dummy?
Have a wonderful school day, person I don't know.
Burger Queen. This refers to the crown that Ida retrieves for King in the first episode. This is a reference to the real-life Burger King crowns. Giraffes. In the first episode is mentioned that giraffes were banished from the Boiling Isles and sent to the human world.
I knew it!
Yep, griffins, vampires, giraffes.
Giraffes?
Oh yeah, we banished those guys.
And since then, we have seen a lot of references to that fact. Gravesfield. Gravesfield is a fictional city. It is the town where Luz Nocera comes from. Also, Philip, better known as Velos, comes from this place. Shortened Season 3. The Owl House was almost cancelled by Disney because of its LGBT representation, but in the end it was just shortened. We would have had a Season 3 with 20 episodes, as usual, but Season 3 will only consist of 3 one-hour episodes. Save the Owl House. Save the Owl House was the movement made by fans so Disney won't cancel the show. We can say that it worked. Censorship. In some countries, the Owl House was censored. Mainly, the scene where we can see that Willow has 2 dads. In some other countries, the Owl House was completely banned. Tier 2. The tip of the iceberg. Lego Ira. Lego Ira is a meme well known amongst the community. This meme was inspired because of a scene where it looks that Luz has Lego hands. Even Dana Terrace, creator of the show, acknowledges this meme. Luz Batista. Luz Nocera is named after Dana's best friend, Luz Batista, who also works as a storyboard artist in the show. Harry Potter references. The Owl House has a lot of references to Harry Potter, specifically the Sorting Hat and the game Quidditch. TheOwlClub.net. TheOwlClub.net is a website where you can watch, illegally, the Owl House. The funny thing about this is that even Dana Terrace uses this website. She hates Disney. Well, I guess that you can't blame her. Penstagram. Penstagram is a social network exclusive to the Boiling Isles. It is evidently a parody of Instagram, but instead of working with internet, it works with magic. I wonder if this is a creation of the Blight family. Snake Oil. In one episode is mentioned that Ira sells snake oil. Snake oil salesman is a term used to refer to scammers, which with Ida's reputation is accurate. The Day of Unity. The Day of Unity is the event where the Emperor Velos promised to bring paradise to the Boiling Isles, although the real goal was to destroy everything. After the events of the last episode, we have yet to see the outcome. Tiny Nose. Tynella Nosa, better known as Tiny Nose, is a character in the Owl House that is just a head with limbs. No body. No body. The character is a self-caricature of Dana Terrace. It's supposed to make fun of her big nose. As someone with a big nose, I don't think that Dana's nose is big. Tier 3. Below the surface. Final Fantasy VII. In a scene of the 16th episode of the first season, you can see Cloud's Buster Sword from the video game Final Fantasy VII, and also the sword Alastor from Devil May Cry. Also, I almost forget to mention that in the 7th episode of the first season, Luz literally cosplays Cloud. Press the like button if you're a real gamer. Mickey Mouse's Hootie. Alex Hirsch not only voices King, but also Hootie. Originally, Alex only did the voice of Hootie as a placeholder, but Dana liked the placeholder so much because Alex was doing the worst Mickey Mouse impression. Luz has ADHD. ADHD is a disorder where you can't focus on a single task for a lot of time, and this is a description where Luz Nocera fits. Originally, she didn't have ADHD, but Dana liked the idea so much that now is canon. Marilyn. It is mentioned that Ida traveled to the human world, and her name while she was there was Marilyn. This will be important later on. Luz. In the 16th episode, you can see that Luz misspelled her own name, writing it with an S instead of a C. Spider-Man. In the 2nd episode of the 2nd season, King makes a small nod to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll deal with it. No one ever said power came with responsibility.
Clearly King never watched Spider-Man by Sam Raimi. The Batqueen was the Tyrant's policeman. In the 10th episode of the first season, it's revealed that the Batqueen is a policeman, but who is the owner? Having in mind the Batqueen's size, it was probably a Tyrant, which is to say, the remains of the Tyrant that conform the Boiling Isles. The Collector is a human. When the Collector is introduced, we can at least confirm that he is partially human because of the shape of his ears. It's also mentioned that the Collector is the child of the stars, and in the temple that Ira found King, we can see something that might be the Collector as a star arriving to the Boiling Isles. 1 Million Moms. 1 Million Moms is a Christian conservative group. They tried to cancel the Owl House when it was released, and they almost succeeded, but ultimately failed. Tier 4. The bottom of the iceberg. Intro monster. The monster that appears in the intro of every episode only appears one time in the show, and that is on the final episode of the first season when Luz and Velos are fighting. Gravity Falls. There are a lot of references to Gravity Falls in the Owl House. I'll try to list most of them here. In the first episode, you can see Dipper's hat. In the 4th episode, you can see a drawing of Bill Cipher. In the comic Gravity Falls: The Lost Legends, you can see 2 references to the Owl House. You can see Ida's wanted poster and Ida's policeman. Dark Souls. In the 10th episode of the first season, you can see a reference to Dark Souls, and more specifically to the character Dark Moon Knights. Dragon Ball. In the 9th episode of the 2nd season, we can see a reference to Dragon Ball. Ira is trying to turn into a Super Saiyan. Why there isn't a Super Saiyan Ira meme? Solid Snake. In the 12th episode of the first season, when Ira collects trash from the human realm and then proceeds to give it a hug, you can see a Dakimakura of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. I wonder what's on the other side of the pillow. Amphibia. There are a lot of references to Amphibia in the Owl House. In the 2nd episode of the 2nd season, you can see a frog that resembles Hop Pop on the cover of a book. In the 6th episode of the 2nd season, you can see a plushie of Sprig. And on the final episode of the 2nd season, you can see Anne on a news website in Luz's mom's tablet. Tier 5. Shallow Waters. Pain. On an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, Dana was asked what we could expect from the Owl House Season 2, and she answered parental conflict, a lot of emotions, island exploration, and new characters. But if you read the first letter of each sentence, it says pain. I wonder what we could expect from Season 3. Howl's Moving Castle. The 6th episode of the first season, Hooty's Moving Castle, was inspired on the movie Howl's Moving Castle. Hollow Knight. In the intro of the first season, you can see a reference to Hollow Knight if you look good enough. He appears as one of King's plushies. Also, you can see a plush from Evangelion. Blake's Deal. In the 20th episode of the second season, it is mentioned that the Blake's family has a deal. We don't know what the deal is, but from what they say, we can figure out what the deal is. We know that Alador is the only worker in Blight Industries, while Odalia is the boss. She got rid of all of her workers. She mentions that it's time to make a new deal and involve their children in their job. So, the deal that Alador and Odalia made was that Alador was going to make all the technology of Blight Industries if Odalia let their children stay away from Blight Industries and have a normal life. Alador is a king. Amiri's Palisman. Amiri's Palisman was inspired on Dana's real cat, Ghost. They even share the same name.
Excellent. Aw, Ghost, did you help too?
You are pretty. Sometimes the messages that Luz and Amiri send to each other through their Tamagotchi-like devices make sense. For example, if you flip the screen here, it says you are pretty. Big City Greens. In the 36th episode of the second season of Big City Greens, there's a reference to the Owl House. You can see a King plushie, and also plushies from other Disney cartoons, like Perry the Platypus, Bill Cipher, Sprig, and even Rufus from Kim Possible. It is insane considering this scene doesn't even last 2 seconds. And on the 6th episode of the second season of The Owl House, you can see a plushie of Remy, character from Big City Greens. She-Ra. In the second episode of the first season, there's a reference to She-Ra that is really easy to miss.
By the power of Skullgar!
For the honor of Grayskull!
Tier 6. Dark Waters. Ships. As any other piece of media that has a fandom, the fans of the Owl House make their own ships, which is to say their own favorite characters to have a relationship. There are a lot that are harmless, but some of them are weird and wrong. Some people ship Hooty and Lilith, and get this, Ira and Luz. Yeah. Golden Guard spin-off. After the Owl House Season 3 was shortened, Dana said that comics and spin-offs can still happen, even a Golden Guard spin-off, so maybe we should ask Disney nicely. Opnis. The same person that was spying on Ida has a lot of alien-related stuff. Knowing that the Collector is the children of the stars, it makes you wonder if maybe aliens will have anything to do in the show. Luz's Palisman. There are a lot of theories going around which animal Luz's Palisman will be, but the strongest ones are either a blue jay or a blue otter. Let's wait and see, and if you come from the future, leave it in the comments. Asura propaganda. There is a theory that says that Asura's books are created from the witch realm and sent to the human realm to find humans to become witches, which doesn't make much sense, but I thought that I should mention it. 2 truths and a lie. Dana Terras made a post on Reddit stating things that will happen in the season 2 of The Owl House, saying that one of them was a lie. But if you watch the season 2 of The Owl House, you know that all of them actually happened. Belos curse. If you watch the show, you know by this point that Belos is cursed. But if you watch the 16th episode of the second season in Velo's Memories, you can see the exact moment when he was cursed. Pilot episode. There is a pilot episode of the Owl House that is still partially lost. It has a few differences from the final product. Mainly, Lucy's hair is black and her shirt is different. King's color palette looks weird. And Amiry's design was different. If you want to see more, I'll leave a link in the description. Tier 7. The Abyss. Critique to school system. There is a theory that says that the Owl House is a critique to the school system, that being how school limits your potential and doesn't allow you to grow in different areas of your life, and ultimately showing you how flawed the school system is. First Night Together. First Night Together is a comic that depicts Luz and Amiri having a more intimate relationship. It became kinda famous because it was really controversial. I like to believe that this doesn't represent the overall fandom. The Boiling Isles is Luz's afterlife. It is said that the original plot of the Owl House was going to be about Luz's afterlife, but Disney didn't like the idea, so they changed it into the plot that we know today. But there's a great webcomic that deals with this plot. If you want to see it, I'll leave a link in the description. Ida and Stanley Pines were married. The DVD version of Gravity Falls comes with a special commentary from Grunkle Stan, where we hear him talk about the time that he was married to a woman named Marilyn, name that Ida used while she was in the human realm.
Sometimes comedy comes from a place of pain. I was actually married for less than a day. Vegas situation. Marilyn had hair like an airline stewardess and a neon pink shirt that said, "Over 30 and very flirty." You should have seen the way she threw dice. One time right at my head. Turns out she only married me to distract me while she stole my car and all my winnings. And I guess her name was fake and her hair was fake. Sometimes I still think of her. Pale bingo hall skin and one weirdly sharp tooth.
A shout out to Marvel 3K, Mimto, Kyle Raggett, GNGNOHD, SMPS Gamer, Andrew Rojas, Oni Games, Pedal Pong 57, and last but not least, The Eggplant Guy. If you wanna shout out in the next video, give me a like, be sure to click the subscribe button, and leave your favorite character from the Owl House in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye!